Right, welcome to the second day of action roundup here at Circuito Internazionale Napoli. Day 2, been a very interesting day, shorter practice sessions, so the drivers have had less track time than they probably would have liked. We've had the Rotax Thunder carts, the electric carts, fully prepared. They are here for the final round of the DEKM here in Sarno as well, so they'll be deciding their title let's say conclusions here in this fantastic 1,547 metre circuit here in Sarno. But let's get on to what's happened today. First up, we've had 8-minute sessions apiece. There have been a total of around 26 sessions, including 2 8-minute practice sessions for the Thunder carts here at Napoli, Circuito Napoli. So let's have a look at Len Nice, our youngster in the Praga chassis on Micromax, the number 11, has been doing an absolutely fantastic job behind the wheel here today at Sarno. In the first session he was P2, he was just less than 8/100ths of a second off of the top spot. Session 2, managed to increase the pace, got about 7/10ths of a second quicker, and was just over 2/10ths off of the best lap time in that session. However, we have our first P1 in practice of the week here in Sarno, and he was just 3/1000ths quicker than the Netherlands' very own Tommy van der Stroys, who's running on the number 29 for the Netherlands. So Len increased his pace, and over the course of the day actually managed to increase by 1.1 second, by about 1.1 seconds. So good job from Len. Then we get on to Jasper in Minimax on the Comcart chassis in the 111. Showed some really good pace in the initial foray, managed to better his time from session 1 to session 2, but the field started to truncate and concertina a little bit, so he was around about 7 to 7.5 off of the pace in the first 2 sessions. He was P14 in the first session, P23 in the second. He set his best lap time in session number 2, but we had the young Australian by the name of Costa Topanis, who was the pace setter in session number 3. Jasper unfortunately was just under 1.1 seconds adrift. However, there are some issues that they need to get around with Jasper, and hopefully they can resolve that ready for tomorrow. Let's have a look at the International Trophy Champion, shall we? Tom Reinert's in the 209 on the Praga chassis in Junior Max. There has been some pace coming, and over the course of the day, from session 1 he was P19, and he was about 6.5 off of the pace setter in that session. But at the end of it all, he was just over 5/10 off of Clay Osborne from Australia in session number 3, and was P16. He was P15 in session number 2, and that was where he set his best lap time of 1:01.058. Then we get to Marlon Coppens, also running on the Praga chassis in the 218. He's been running in the sharp end of the grid, actually running in the top 10 for both the first and the third sessions. Best lap time from him was a 1:07.41 in session number 3, just 2.5 exactly off of Philip Yannick, who was the pace setter of the final session. So he's managed to claw to his betterment around about a 3/10 of a second improvement over the course of the day. Then we get on to seniors, where they're running on the Sodi Kart chassis. So let's have a look at the Euro Trophy Open champion, Ilian Brunsils, on the 308. I've had a really good chat with him today over the course of the duration of practice. P11 in session number 1, P13 in session number 2, but he got into the top 10 in P7 for session number 3, and his best lap time actually was, fun enough, in session number 1. But Axel Sarniola was the pace setter in session number 3, and Ilian was just under 2/10 off of the Finn. Then we get to Roy Kurse. He's explained to me earlier on today that he had some seat issues, so the seat wasn't working, well, it was actually quite literally not functioning properly at all, so he didn't really have the true feel of the kart underneath him. But he's been running consistently, but his best time was actually in session number 3, or 1:05.88, and he was actually just over 4.5 away from Francis Paul Forcumat, who set the best lap time in that session. He was only 0.461 of a second adrift, and in session number 3 that was his best time, and he made an improvement of just over 1/10 of a second. It's not much, but it could be enough to help him in qualifying tomorrow. Then we go into our penultimate category, Sander Schuvlak in the 423, the 2-time B&L Karting Series champion, running on the Birolart chassis. He has been running quite consistently in the top 10, and was P4 at the end of the day, just under 2/10 off of Peter Bezel from the Czech Republic, and his best lap time was actually a 59.159 in session number 3, putting him P4. So P8 in the first session, P6 in the second, and was running consistently in the low to mid 59 second bracket, 0.3 bracket. Sebastian de Grond, again, the 16-year-old on the 429, he's having some difficulties again. Power delivery doesn't seem to be quite right. There's been an issue. They're trying to resolve it, but he's staying quite positive. He is running consistently in anywhere between a high 59.6 to a mid 59.7 second lap time. He was P22 in the last 2 sessions, and he's been around anywhere between 0.65 of a second and about 0.76 of a second off of the best drivers, which of course in the last session was Peter Bezel from the Czech Republic. And in the odd groups for DD2 Masters, we've both got 2-time Grand Finals champion Christoph Adams, a 14-time participant now as of this season in DD2 Masters. The 555 from Belgium has been running anywhere between P12 and P14. Best lap time from him was session number 3, on a 1 minute 0.051. Antti Ollikainen from Finland set the best lap time in the last session of the day, and Christoph did a 1 minute 0.373, which put him P12 and was just under 8.5 tenths of a second off of him. Carl Clervaux came flying out of the box on the 571, our DD2 BNL Karting Series and Belgium Max Challenge champion from this year. P5 in the first session, and that was where he set his best lap time of the day, a 59.68, so he's just over 0.2 of a second off of the pace. P8 in the second session, bit of a difficult one because he actually dropped a lot of time, probably around about 0.7 of a second, and his best lap time put him P18, 6 places behind Christoph on a 1 minute 0.512. Nevertheless, the Red Devils at Team Belgium remain positive and motivated to look forward to what's going to be the real true start of the race at Sarno, not the race to Sarno, because we are already here. And again, time now is 5:15 local time here in Sarno, and tomorrow is where the action truly begins for the 20th running of the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals. We also now have a playlist of every single video that we'll be posting, every single interview that is coming your way over the next few days, and we cannot wait until they go racing. You might find a sudden appearance in somewhere quite familiar to me tomorrow at some point during the day, but leaving you with this from Sarno: the Red Devils remain resolute here in southern Italy. That's it for today. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Thank you for your support as always. And before I forget, if you haven't already, head to the Rotax New Age Karting Facebook page. There is a team photo competition from the welcome party. Of course, we have our team captain and Mr. Court Jester, Mr. Christoph Adams, at the front and centre of that. And really nice to have Paul Lemons with us on that particular time. And there's some great characters in this paddock, some faces that I remember, some new friends I've made along, and the 20th running of the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals continues to astound me, your Red Devil off track, Mr. Alex Goldschmidt. So goodbye from me, see you all tomorrow morning.